What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Cody Campbell with High Ground Gaming. Today we are reviewing the EasySMX high-backed mesh gaming chair. I'm going to start by walking you through the specs, then we're going to unbox it, take a look at the parts. After that, I'm going to build it for you, and then we'll take a look at it, and from there we'll go to the review section, and then finally to High Ground Gaming's final score. Stick around. So when EasySMX contacted us and asked us to review one of their gaming chairs, they actually gave us a choice in which one we wanted to review. We picked the mesh gaming chair because all the other ones were PU leather, and that's kind of what most gaming chairs are made of, is that fake leather. And we thought it'd be really interesting to give a fabric one a try, since that seems kind of unique and different from most of the gaming chairs on offer and might be something that kind of sets this one apart. It supports up to 300 pounds in weight, and it has 3 modes of incline. It has a 90-degree incline, which is the straight up and down. It has a 110-degree incline and a 135-degree incline. It also has adjustable arms, which is a big deal for me because I like my arms to be directly in line with my desk, and it has an adjustable footrest, which we'll check out, see if that's any good. But without further ado, let's unbox this puppy and see what it looks like. So you can see the box was already a little damaged when it showed up. Hopefully everything inside is still okay. All right, and here we have the actual back. Careful to cut just the tape and not the chair. Ooh, that's nice. That's good looking, and it feels nice too. I'm excited about this. Okay. Okay. Wheels. Caps. This is the base stands, more caps, screws, blah, blah, blah. All right, we've got instructions and a $10 voucher. Got all the parts laid out in front of us. Time to get building. So they give you 2 Allen wrenches in order to build this, or hex wrenches. Okay, as you can see, the chair's all finished. The arms do go up and down. The action on them is a little gritty. You kind of got to fight them a little bit. It's not the smoothest thing in the world, but that doesn't really matter because odds are you're probably just going to get it in your comfort zone and leave it there forever. You're not going to be moving them up and down all the time. So that's no biggie. There's a lever over here to go back, and it goes back pretty far, you guys. That is cozy. I like that. All right, and it does come back on its own. It's not super snappy. It's not going to be like giving you pressure on your back as you sit back or as it comes back up, but it comes back up on its own. You don't need to lift it, which is the most important thing. It does accommodate a variety of heights, which is pretty nice. I'm 6 foot even, and the top height for this is pretty comfortable for me. If you're super tall, it might not be the right fit for you, but I think it's going to be pretty comfortable fit for most people. Other than that, there's not much else to say. I'm going to go test it, play some video games. While I'm doing that, why don't you go ahead and click that subscribe button. Just give it a little click. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're back. I've spent some time with the EasySMX high-backed fabric gaming chair, and I have some notes to give you all. First of all, I'm going to start with the build quality. And I have some major critiques here, but I'm going to start by saying something good though. The cushioning is very firm, but that's not really a bad thing. I want to talk about why having good firm cushioning is actually a good thing to look for in chairs. You might be tempted by the super soft memory foam, and those feel really nice when you sit in them at first. But what kind of happens with memory foam a lot of the time is you will sink through it over time. Your weight will slowly quash it to the point where your butt is basically just on hard plastic, and that's not really very good. Having a good firm cushion keeps you in place while also staying comfortable and helping you maintain good posture. I'm actually a fan of the cushioning in this chair, but there are a lot of things I'm not a fan of. And the first one that I need to talk about is my biggest criticism about the chair in general, and that's the wings on the side of the seat. Now, this chair has a 14.5-inch width, and on either side of that are the racing wings that you see on all gaming chairs. But these ones have hard plastic boning in them, and that boning is lightly padded, but it's very firm, and what happens as I'm sitting in it is the sides of my thighs are pressing into these hard plastic ridges. And what I noticed is after a day or two, I started getting these sore spots on the sides of my legs that I was feeling for the rest of the day, even after I stopped sitting in the chair. Now, if you're the kind of person who likes to sit with your knees together, that probably won't really be a problem for you. But if you like to spread your legs out at all, then you're gonna feel these wings cutting into the sides of your legs, and it's pretty uncomfortable. It might be less of an issue for someone smaller than me, someone who takes up less of a footprint on the seat, but that's something you kind of have to decide for yourself. Personally, I don't understand why there's this hard boning in these chairs at all. Most of these gaming chairs that I've sat in generally just have more cushioning in there, so it's kind of odd. Another thing I want to talk about is the pillow placement. The lower back pillow is quite comfortable when it's in place. You just kind of slide it to where you want it and lean back, and it generally stays there while you're sitting in the chair. The thing that I found though is that it kind of likes to slide back down all the way to the seat when you're not sitting in it. So it's not a huge deal, but you are gonna have to adjust that pretty much every time you sit in the chair. The neck pillow is kind of the same way. As you can see on me, it hits somewhere on my upper back. I have to sort of reach back and lift it to get it comfortably in my neck there, which is where I want it when I'm sitting. And there's no adjustment for the neck pillow. It just kind of hangs where it hangs, and anytime I lean forward, it falls down and I have to lift it back up. The cushioning is kind of something that you're going to be constantly fiddling with. Not a deal breaker, but kind of irritating. The other thing is the footrest. The footrest comes out 15 inches from the seat edge to the very edge of the footrest. That's a full 15 inches in length. For me, that lands somewhere about halfway up my thigh. Now, the way the weight is sort of balanced with this, I can't really use that when I'm sitting upright. It sort of tilts the chair forward. Here, let me show you. So, I'm like sliding out of the chair as I'm sitting here. Now, when I recline it, I have to go pretty much all the way back before my weight is centered. And that's not really a position I like to be in most of the time. Maybe when you're watching a movie or something, but even then I like to be sitting a little bit more forward. It doesn't really work for me. I feel like this chair is more designed for someone shorter than I am. Now, it isn't marketed as a big and tall chair or anything like that, but I'm 6 foot even. So I feel like for the neck pillow, at least, that's probably somewhere in the 5'8", 5'9" range. For the leg rest, maybe something similar, maybe even a little bit shorter than that. It feels like this chair was designed for a smaller person than me, to say the least. And that's okay. It's good. People of all sizes need chairs. It's just that on the website, they don't market it towards a specific height or weight. As a matter of fact, the only thing that they do have on the website is that it holds up to 300 pounds. Now, I weigh about 2/3 that, and it's way too small for me. So I feel like anyone over 200 pounds is definitely not going to want this chair. I just need to throw that out there right now. But there is one thing that I really do like about this chair, and that is actually the reason that we picked it for our review: the mesh upholstery. The mesh upholstery is really nice. It's comfortable. It doesn't really get dirty or attract dog hair. I have a little dog and I haven't had to clean it up very much. It stays clean very easily and it breathes really well. We had a couple of 110-degree days here recently, and I was sitting in here and my AC was not keeping up. It was like 90, 95 degrees in my office and I had to work a full day in here. And I was really appreciating the fact that this fabric breathes. So for somebody in really hot or humid conditions, that's a really big deal. So that is a big +1 in the build quality category. But let's get down to the functionality of it. Let's talk about its adjustability. So the backrest has roughly 10 locking steps between the 90 degrees and the, 135 degrees of incline, something like that. So while it doesn't lock at any given place, it does lock every inch or so. So you've got tons and tons of options there, and that's really nice. Having the arms that are able to be adjustable is a big deal for me. That's one of my favorite features that a gaming chair can have. I really love being able to get right in line with my desk, and so that is a big plus. I know some of them have the option for you to rotate them horizontally as well. I'm not actually a big fan of that personally, because what ends up happening for me is they pop out of place or something like that. Unless you can lock them in specific positions, I don't really like being able to horizontally move them. Just vertical is enough for me, and so these are perfect. They're made of a somewhat firm rubber, but it's never uncomfortable. It's got enough give to it that your arms are going to be comfortable sitting on it all day long. And frankly, I never really feel like I need cushions on my arms anyway. One thing I do have to say though is a lot of times when you're making adjustments, you're going to get a lot of creaking and pops. There's some noise to this chair, and of course it's not going to do it when I try and make it do it, but there is a fair amount of noise. Oh, there we go. There's a fair amount of noise as it kind of settles into any given new position. Not a huge deal if you like to leave it in place for the most part, but if you're constantly moving back and forward and shifting your positions around, I could see how that could be irritating. That's sort of a personal choice thing. I don't think it's that big a deal, but I do feel like I need to mention it. But there isn't really all that much else to say about it. Let's get down to the verdict. So this gaming chair MSRP is at $189.99. That's sort of a lower mid-range. I found that gaming chairs generally start at around $100 on the cheapest side and go up to around $400, $450 on the super high end, the Secret Lab Titan end of things. So this one kind of occupies a lower middle ground in terms of pricing. It's pretty fairly priced, I would say. I personally would not recommend this for someone looking for a big and tall chair. I am hesitant to give any sort of height or weight recommendations. I haven't really tested anything like that. All I can do is speak for myself and say that for me, I feel like I'm too big for the chair. So keep that in mind when you're making your decisions. If other gaming chairs look too big for you, then this is probably one that you might genuinely want to consider. The big plus for it, again, is the mesh fabric. If you live somewhere hot or somewhere humid, then you really don't want to be sitting in PE leather all day, and something like this could be a lifesaver. It's also not bad to look at. It's a pretty attractive chair, all in all. The only thing that I really don't like about it is the boning in the wings on the side of the seat. So you have to be sure that that isn't going to bother you if you decide to get this chair. Other than that, it's really not bad. So with all that in mind, we're going to go ahead and give this a 3.5 out of 5. I don't want to be too generous with it because there are serious flaws, but the mesh fabric gives it a serious edge in its price category. I know Andaseat has a mesh fabric gaming chair, and I know Secret Lab has a mesh fabric gaming chair, but those are both high-end, somewhat expensive gaming chairs. This one is sub $200, and I couldn't find another gaming chair with mesh fabric in that price category. But that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Before you go, please remember to like and subscribe. Every subscription really counts for us right now, and we really appreciate it. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Happy gaming.